Beautiful ignited souls, we are ready for a new creation. Beautiful ignited souls, let's have a little bit more light in here. Yes. Okay. Ignited souls, I am Crime Queen, your partner in crime. Okay, in case you're new to this channel and you're thinking, I didn't come here to commit a crime. Yes, it's about the crime of self love. We do things subconsciously, unconsciously, but that's what happens anyway. So you're not here by chance. You're about getting to improve, hopefully improve the art of self-love. Yes, because for people who have been particularly sexually abused or traumatized or anything like that, there is a sense of feeling that they do not deserve love, they do not know how to have accept love, and they want it, but as soon as they recognize anything that looks like it, they sabotage love. They sabotage that opportunity to gain the art of self-love. And hey, I want to say that I'm your companion on this path of learning or to accept, learning to recognize, learning to embrace the art of self love. It is something that is innate within you, so basically, you can't run from yourself. It's just that we need to have this outlet, an expression. It's like a mirror. You need to have that mirror to see what it looks like, what it feels like, what you are intending to do with it, how you can love it, embrace it. And so we are talking about developing the art of self-love. Now, this is specifically, as I have mentioned, for people who have been sexually traumatized, raped. It could be of any nature. A lot of times people are traumatized as well. It's not because they have experienced something directly, but they may have been witness to an act that really troubled them, and that has altered their state of being or their attitude towards love, towards sex, towards intimacy. So these are things we hope that you will be able to grasp what you need from these exercises, teachings, whatever label we want to put on it, but hopefully it meets a certain part of your need, and so you can become the lovely expression of life that you are. I just saw a beautiful flower just beaming, opening like a lily. Okay, so for those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome on board. I like to say we are on the us ship. I call this us ship like relationship. So US is not the United States, it's United Souls. And this is where we are going to get ignited, meaning we are going to be stimulated inside. Now, I like to sort of set the parameters or the environment to let you know that you are not beyond reach in what you truly want to do, aspire, become, or anything like that, because there's a well of gem inside of you, which is called the word, according to the scriptures. So this is where we also do numerology and spirituality. So there's a we do this. This is our tools. Of course, intuition and synchronicities are the languages that we have been blessed with on this channel. Well, everyone nowadays, because you just need to say, yes, I'm ready, and the universe will be sending you, your module of that language that is so important for your survival. For the expression of who you are, you have that gem within you, which is called the word. Now, of course, I call it the mobile Bible. You are the mobile Bible. So I set that to remind you that everything you need for anything you want to become, like attaining the art of self-love, knowing how to forgive, how to embrace, how to have compassion, self-compassion, how to rid yourself of blame, shame, and pain, that you can tap into your body Bible, which is the word. Basically, this rests on the the understanding that everything in the Bible, the Holy Bible, or if you will, with the Quran or any of these Bibles, if you like, the Quran, the Zohar, all of those that holds a construct of belief, concepts, practices, rituals, whatever it is, all those are within you. Basically, language is within you. You are the makeup of language. You are the makeup of the construct of language. It's like flour. I continue to say it's like baking a cake of flour or kneading bread, which you do with your hands more or less. And you put in all these ingredients and you knead it. Here's the word knead. People say it's Knead, but it's Need. It's the same thing. It's that kind of it's a movement, it's that kind of motion. So basically you are in a place, or you have for everything available to you to becoming. I haven't read the book. I've got it, Becoming, Michelle Obama. Someone gifted me with the book. I love the word becoming because it reminds me of Rogerian, what's his other name? Okay, but person-centered theory, because I studied counseling, and so Rogerian feel he has a book on becoming. The person is never really complete in the sense they are becoming, and this is what I want to remind you, that you are becoming. Becoming is really a discovery, self-discovery. It's like you're discovering who you are, but you're already that. It's that realization. It's about realization. So on here we are going to talk some more on sexual assault. Of course, this is where we are. I started doing these presentations before this huge case with Brother Polight, who is allegedly accused of molesting a 14-year-old, and I want to do some numerology on this because I want to remind you that I did say that you will be hearing a lot about the number 14. I said this from last year, and especially with whatever way we were going through it all in 2020, and I've said it before because when I notice, for instance, as well, I have videos where we have Trump and Biden, they 7-7, they come to 14. We have Pope Francis, that comes to 14 as well. There were so many 14s that I have given a lot of examples. So just to try and keep these concise, and give it this just to get the essence of what I want to do when I say this. Really, the main reason for doing the numerology on here, I want you to understand the essence of vibration, numerical vibration, because that's a language. So for instance, if you had the life path number 8, like myself, you would begin to understand what 8 is about. Why is 8, for instance, such an abundant number? And it tells you, you could just take the word EAT or ATE or TEA, which is the first 3 letters that you could say put us in trouble, or make us be that expressive as co-creators with the universe. When the woman ate of the fruit and she gave to her husband and he did it as well, the word did as well. But let's look at it, or the word set. So basically SET is also 8. So when we look at words like that, for instance, just thinking EAT, yes, which is you could see the correspondence with eating something, which of course resonates on all your senses. All your senses get engaged in eating of something, the taste, the smell, you hear your mouth, your the hearing of chewing of the food, of course, the feeling and the smell. All your five senses get engaged in this. This is where you have the expression of abundance. Let's get to that numerology. There is something that happens in numerology. When I do numerology, it's like it opens a whole new meaning, not necessarily new, but a deeper meaning to what I am hoping to find. Just hoping to find. So I have done a video on where I speak of brother Polight, for instance, and how, of course, I found him very fascinating, and it's just I'm really thankful, for instance, that um my eyes have been open. I have been found, so to speak. I was blind, but now I see. So I have done videos covering the spiritual pimp, but of course, with what we are doing right now, we'll still be leaving this there because pimping is like, I think everyone knows the meaning of that, but it's like someone actually uses your energy. They get you generating and, all your energy through whatever attention that you give to someone else or something else, and they sap that energy for their own good. You are only a conduit, which is and you just get just about enough maybe to breathe, to of course keep their world going. So spiritual pimps. Actually, I have been watching, and even with doing the video just that I last posted, or even when I comment on that, and I found myself watching the conscious community again. Now, personally, I find it challenging. When I say challenging to, I mean personally, find it challenging to watch videos which is supposed to be empowering and stimulating and motivating, with a lot of swearing. Perhaps it is something to do with my conditioning as a former Christian, or former Christian practice, or being that kind of, to have some kind of reverence. So I find that okay, I'm finding it very challenging in this case to have all these derogatory words, and I'm wondering what flavors or seasonings they are meant to put into the context of whatever it is that I'm listening to. And so I have tried to, like they say, eat the fish and spit out the bones. I have tried that. And sometimes, yeah, for a short while it works. But then I realized, speaking of spiritual pimp, that I'm actually giving my energy in that kind, because there the energy is not quite conducive, if you like. So I am using much more energy to give my attention to something that does not really make me feel good or add. And it's not all about feeling good, but there are things that just does not serve so much than to know that you should stop watching this thing. That is what it means. So it's not like a waste. It's like saying, or perhaps it has given me some insight or more insight into understanding different ways that spiritual pimps play out. Now, I may be, in this case, voluntarily giving my attention that way. But again, the scene, if you like, or SCENE, the scenery of that kind of thing as well, of that seduction of spiritual pimping. The seed have been sown so deep within us that it permeates our psyche. It delves at a certain level that if you are not really awoken, you will find yourself being an instrument for a spiritual pimp. With that, because it's like, I will make you fishers of men. They know how to send that hook, or fishers of women or creatures, whatever it is. They know the terminologies, the niceness, like I said. I could get sucked into listening to, say, Brother Polight, for instance, because when he's ready, he could really. I watched him on, for instance, the Breakfast Club or something, and this is where he speaks so eloquent. He was making his point. Eye contact, the language, how he was conveying, and he owned himself. He owned, the studio, whatever it was. He was being interviewed, and he knew how to answer every question. He knew how to pace his words. He knew how to listen to a question. He was not avoiding a question or evading something. The man, he sat and he owned his space. So this is why I say I could have him as a spiritual pimp quite easily if I wasn't where I was or I am. So basically, there is a way of sending that hook, particularly for people who have been traumatized, people who are looking for something. They know it is out there, but they don't quite know how to get there. They are looking for someone because we have been indoctrinated to know or to believe that we need a shepherd, and you are a sheep, and you need to be having, you need to have that shepherd, and and a dog going around to keep you in line. We have been indoctrinated to think that we need to go on a pulpit or listen to someone, even like you're listening to me now. But I just want to remind you that there is, again, this is what you will get very different on this platform here, is that to remind you that you are the mobile Bible. So when someone is speaking, they are tapping into certain codes within you. But when you learn to ignite your own codes, you know how to write your verses for yourself and for your personal evolution. You know how to speak or to listen what you need and what you don't need. You will be able to make that discernment. You will have that discernment for yourself. You will have that understanding for yourself. So I want to do the numerical value on here. So first of all, in fact, I did make some notes. So I want to look at Brother Polight. I may have to do another video on this because, and I perhaps will still consider this as the second part to the last video, which I did was the Irresistibly Bright Brother Polight. Okay, but and cover other aspects of this video. So brother, let's look at brother Polight, because I have been saying a lot about 14, meaning as well that he's accused of molesting a 14-year-old. So we see 14. This is what we want to keep in mind. So 14, and of course the word 14, I'm wishing that I have a contrast. Let's look at contrast. FOURTEEN. That equals 41, which is 5. So I hope you get that. So 41 is 5. Now, why I am bringing this as well, because a lot of people are talking very much about revelations and so on. And I feel that we are in this new Genesis from 2020. That was what was happening. That was our real restart. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. So this is my Bible here. And this is what we are talking about, that I feel that we are in Genesis. This is the creation happening, and two creations are happening. Both creations, let's just say they are 14 days. This is why I say there's a correlation as well with 14 days quarantine, when you were given 14 days quarantine. Now in Matthew, the book of Matthew, the first book of the New Testament, gives the lineage or genealogy of Jesus Christ, which is in Matthew chapter, the New Testament, and so it's in verse 17. So there we are. When we speak of 17, this is the God right here. This is what we are going to show you, that there are 14 gods. We have done many videos on that. The 14 gods, which are verbatim gods. Of course, 1 plus 4 equals 5. This is what it's about, the number 5. Now, when we say 5, like pyramid, which is, we of course, the big thing about the pyramids in Egypt, or and so on all over, we are talking about, we see the pyramid, it equals 5. Christ equals 5. Kundalini equals 5. And there are two of the gods, of also two, that equals 5, which is the made God and the ended God. These gods were very instrumental. God made and God ended. So we have these 14 gods. As we say, 1 plus 4 is 5. Now they come together, and we see we have our 5 senses. This is how we are going to make sense out of whatever you may have, downloads, whatever it is. You need your senses to make sense of this. So this is what we are going to do. We're on 20 minutes, 22 minutes. So I'm going to do the first part on here. And I want to say that, so all the generations on Matthew, of course, Matthew equals 9. 9 is beginning. In the beginning, the word beginning equals 9. And that is the language of numerology that we have. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14. 14 generations, and from David until carrying away into Babylon are 14, and 14 generations. They have to say generations all the time, so there is something in generations as well. It's vibration we are talking about. And from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations. And that is where we have now, in verse 18, now the birth of Jesus Christ. This is where you hear Christ coming now, was on this wise, meaning the birth of Christ was on this wise, is to say on this wisdom, on this knowledge. It is about 5, because Christ equals 5. Jesus Christ equals 7. So let's go on. Bear in mind about this 7. 7 plus 7 is 14. So we will put this up. So we have the 14 gods here. We have done this, we have showed this, that there is a correlation right here, 4672, 2764. You can see the uniformity here. This comes to 40, which tells us about 40, of course, on the wise that Christ was born. So again, 40. We have this equals 13, is it's here. 1 plus 3 is 4. So we see a lot of 4s here. You will notice that the only number that's missing on here, for instance, we have every number 1, we have 2, 3, but 4 is missing. So 4 is what is that? That is the like 40 years in the desert and so on. All these 4s were happening here. So 4 is like an invisible force. Okay, so let's not go on too much about for hair, but I wanted to show you the 14 gods here and with the creations. So there are two creations, of course, and now we are saying we are now in this state of creation. What I want to show with the story of Brother Polight, for instance, how or I'm hoping that we can understand some vibration. I haven't done much on there because I find much more comes out when I just go along with it. But to show the essence of the vibration and how creation is happening right through us, how we are being instrumental in this creation, even as in the story of Jesus Christ. 14. Okay, so for those who want to count this, of course, this is 6 in case you're new to numerology. You can check out my videos on numerology for beginners. So this is 92555, and you add this together comes to 41. So how we have these spiritual pimps around. In fact, we did do the numerical value for the word pimp and spiritual. So this would be 8, and I think, yeah, this would be 5. So that would be 10, 27. 27 is 9. 2 plus 7 is 9. Adding this together gives us 17, but we just had something about 17. So there you see what's happening here. 1 plus 7 is 8. Now that's the God number, because if we do the numerical value for God, of course, that equals 17. 17 is 8. It's the same thing. And like I said, of course, around eating, when you eat. Now, there's a strong correlation with eat and molestation, or sex, if you like, or intimacy, or any, or things like that, or intercourse rather. There is that we see this as a form of eating, because again it taps into every aspect of ourselves. The whatever happens in the body is like we digest the essence of that food. Okay, I won't go too much into this, but I'm sure you have enough understanding to make sense of this. So here we are talking, well, let's look at Brother Polight now. So, brother, because his this energy is very instrumental, and so we'll also look at his real name, but let's look at Polight, Polight. Okay, now, I mean, okay, so again, so brother is 2962859. Okay, so this is 10, 24, 30, 39, 41. 41 people. 41. I did say that the number 14, or the number 5, or the number 23, or the number 32, these are going to really show up for us, but particularly 14. Okay, so 41, and there we have 7, 6, 3, 9, 7, 8, 2. Let's add this together. This is 10, this is 26, 29, 35, 42. This is 42. Okay, so this is 6. So basically we have 5 plus 6 is 11. So we see that Brother Polight here is 11 as a master number. That means that, of course, he is like here. Jesus. Now, if you're a Christian and you have those strong beliefs about Jesus Christ, just bear with me. We are using this for learning about the vibrations and how they manifest, numerical vibrations. So Christ, Christ, is 32, which is 5, and Jesus, of course, is 11. So let's look at, just because what is important for us to remember, Jesus as 11, let's take off Christ because Christ is only Christ after the crucifixion. Remember, he was asking his disciples, well, who do you say the Son of Man is? So let's look at this here. Let's not implicate things. So it's 15131, and this is 11. So we can see, adding this together, we see that that's what I mean with Brother Polight had this charismatic thing, just like, okay, he didn't feed thousands with, well, he probably did in his own way with 3 fishes and 2 loaves or something like that. But he did his thing in his own way. He said to have earn a lot of people some money or a lot of people some money allegedly. Okay, earn and owe. But he was doing his Jesus thing, able to say, come, I'll show you how to leave you what you're doing, leave your job, leave this. I will show you how to make money. I will come, follow me. I will make you fishers of men. But not all the people, just like all the thousands of people Jesus was teaching, we only really hear about the conversion of 12 disciples. The 12 disciples, and yes, there was Lazarus he raised from the dead and a few other people that he raised, but there were thousands of people he was teaching though. Okay, and drinking of the wine and so on. Okay, so I want to show how, if you can think of the scenario or the nature of what Jesus or how Jesus was, for instance, and seeing and have a look about what Brother Polight represents, Jesus, of course, too, had friends in kings when the king of, was it Nebuchadnezzar, which one, they came, the king sought his professionalism or his advice, just like it is said that Polight was also helping celebrities as they being their mentor, business mentor, and so on. So we see that I'm just trying to say to you that there is a correlation, isn't there? Leave your comments. Let me know what you think about this because this may not be quite easy for some people to fathom. This may not be it may not make sense to you, but if it does, either way, leave your comments. And by the way, while you're there, I hope you like and subscribe for those of you who are new. If you do like anything on here, just subscribe, because you are getting something here that you are not getting anywhere else. Let's be honest. Okay. Now, I specialize in this area, you could say, of sexual abuse and teaching how to love yourself, cultivate the art of self-love. I come from that background. I have done the work according to Jan Love and Son. I have done the work. I can prove that I've done it. And so I am now as a companion because everybody has to do their work. I'm not saying to you, follow me, I'll make you fishers of men, women, children, whatever it is. I am there as a companion because what I have learned is that everybody needs to do their own work. It's like every man has his cross to bear. Okay, so now there was something I'm just going to speak on that part of Brother Polight because I feel I'll have to do more on Brother Polight, but again trying to show the correlation. So we had a 14 here, we have the 14 generations. Now, one of the main reasons that I am bringing this point to the surface is that I feel that Brother Polight's case is not just it's not a unique case as such, and it's not an isolated case. It is our case. It's like he's just showcasing what is real. It said, for instance, like There's a in the black community in America, for instance, like 30 or 38% of people who were sexually abused of color or black American, African American, what in that community. That is saying, considering the large percentage of people or the population of the general population, that's significantly high, a high number of a people who have been subjected to such crimes. Now it's all whenever you hear a sound like this, my grandma would say it's the truth. So I'm taking on that one. And so another thing that happens as well, it is said every two in three people were sexually abused before the age of 18. Now that too. Another thing we have, like in England, what the statistics I saw, I think I had the page up, is significantly high as well. Like 90 or 93% of people who are sexually molested or assaulted, whichever way you see it, is by people that they have known before the crime was committed. So what does that tell you? The percentage of people who experience sexual assault by people that they had known before it happened, there must be a large percentage of that is in your very home or next door or in your community. Someone you say hello to every day. And that is something, I mean, that's where I come from. I know about this, and I know that it's permeated in the communities. And it is time that people stop talking about, oh, there's another pillar in our community that they're trying to put down. While 5%, or maybe a bit more, but 5% of people who have been charged are reported to have been innocent. However, there is another large percentage of people who have been proven guilty to have committed crimes of abuse and assault and trauma onto others. So, this, and of course, there is also something else to take in consideration, that the perpetrators themselves have also been abused in many cases. So let's not forget that. So there is a lot of crisscross in all these statistics. So let's look at, there is something I want to show as well. So with 11, I have been doing this quite a lot. 11, of course, is 2. Now, 2 is always, that means 1 plus 1 is 2. TWO. This also shows, let's see, so we have Jesus is 11. This also shows that 2, as in the word form, I call it in glad rags, is 2, 5, 6 equals 13. Now, what is that here? This is the death number. This correlates with Jesus, with his 12 disciples, and of course, him at the table, and he goes through the death stage, DEATH. This is also 20. This equals 20. 20 is 8. Meaning 8 is a new cycle. 8 is to create. Remember, we speak about 8, or when Adam and Eve ate of the fruit. This 8 here, 20, when we do the numerical value for the word 20, it gives us 8. Always going back to 8, because 8 has this significant, it's like it represents everything of life. That's why we eat. That's why we breathe. Even with the word breathe in the middle of it, you will find the word eat. In fact, I can't resist, but I have to give you this. So, BREATH for balance. So, he is on that side, and we have a BR on this side, whatever brother, meaning brother, or BR, that's what I would think. but we have it in the middle. It is always in the middle. It's always there. It is always. That's what we are talking about. So I am just trying to show you how the vibration works here. Now, I would like to finish or complete this part of Brother Polight numerology here. And so another thing that we found here, there's what's looked at. Remember I talked about Biden and Trump. They both have 5 letters. Biden, Biden, Trump, Trump. But they both equal 25. 2 plus 5 is 7. And that's how we saw these two playing out again, the new creation. New creation, of course, that's what the caduceus is about, like the 2 serpents we had in the story of Moses and Pharaoh. I think Moses' serpent must have swallowed Pharaoh's serpent, or this kind of thing, and that's what we are talking about. Okay, so here's the letters here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters here for Polight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters here. Adding this together equals 14. Here I am trying to show you the wonderful writings of Emmett Fox I embarked on. In fact, I've got to go back to that book. He has a phrase that says something like, nothing comes into your consciousness unless it finds something like itself on which to attach itself to. Now, that is to say, the attachment, we are seeing the numerical vibration or connection with Brother Polight and the 14-year-old. Not only there was a mother, child, whatever relationship, there's a numerical vibration that connects. It's almost as if there is an unspoken, I've got to be very careful how I say this, but it's almost like a sacred contract has been put in place. This is why I see her as Eve, as Eve, as Eve, as if she is Eve. 5, 4, 5. Adding this together is 14. As her, when in the black or in the conscious community, when they speak of the black woman is God, we are speaking of Eve. Here, it's like Eve is that which is before any event takes place. So Eve, here, the 14-year-old, is before any event took place. We have Brother Polight has 14 letters to Polight here, and also which connects with 14. Here, 5 is the number of change, major change. This is why after Jesus dies, he becomes 5. At 13, where I've showed you that Jesus is 2, Jesus, Jesus, as 11 is 2. I showed you at the table where he is 13. That's the death number. But 1 plus 3 is also 4. That is foundation. That's the foundation. That is the elements, the 4 elements here. Now, as 1, this is where we see that new creation is happening. This is how the 2 creations come together. This is what Jesus was about. Actually gelling the life of light and dark, of up and down. This is why we all need to die, if you like. There's the underground and there is over. And he was bringing these together as in 1 above, which is 6, 5, 5. This becomes 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. So that's 1 above. And then there is another 1 below or beneath. 6, 5, 5 equals 1, 6. Again 7. So you can see 7 plus 7 is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. This is what happens here. We're on 45 minutes, so I won't make this much longer because I'm hoping I can just, upload this. And do join me again because we want to touch on Brother Polight's date of birth, his real name, which is Michael Nowak, and different aspects of this to see how these numerical vibrations are very current for our evolution. In fact, he has something like I am the evolution, the revolution for evolution, or I am the evolution for revolution, something like this. And that's exactly what is happening. This is so appropriate. He is the evolution for the revolution that is happening, I believe, in our community for a great awakening, a great awareness that it is time that the female or the divine feminine that had adopted the attitude of selective dementia and had said to the young ones, go away, do whatever you want, and they had taken, they had made such a mess or whatever it is, and now she has called them, which from last year I did these videos. She has been calling, Mother Eve had been calling and saying, come home. You can check my videos on Mother Eve. She says, come home. Okay, so we have reached our maximum on her as well. And so I'm urging, please share the videos because this is an awakening of a new creation. Thank you for watching and stay ignited. Okay.